Can you please tell us how this group started and what kind of music you guys make?
Родоначальник этой группы был заслуженный артист России Николай Erdenko.
The forefather of this group was Russia's honored artist Nikolay Erdenko. Unfortunately, he died 2 years ago, but his daughter Rada is carrying on his craft. Musically, he was a very interesting person. He played traditional gypsy music with the addition of jazz rock elements. So in Russia, Nikolay created a very unique style called fusion. Now, one of the important themes of our music is patriotism. It deeply touches our soul. And as fate would have it, we are now recording a military patriotic album.
The Jank band gained worldwide recognition. Most of the members were traditionally from the Erdenko family. Their big musical family belongs to an artistic class of Russian gypsies who settled from the times of forest choirs, but they still keep national traditions. Most of Russian gypsies, Ruska Roma, had nomadic lifestyles. Unlike other countries in Western Europe, where gypsies were persecuted and repressed, in Russia they had certain freedoms and privileges. They were allowed to roam freely and were legally involved in typical crafts like sales, breeding and selling horses, and as blacksmiths. Nowadays, most gypsies are ordinary citizens. But they still greet guests with traditional gypsy songs.
Спасибо большое. Мне никто так не встречал никогда. I've never had a welcome like this anywhere in my life. I'm in shock.
Many gypsies have large families, and the Erdenkos are no exception. Many generations of their family are musicians and artists. Living in such an environment, Rada and Niko's 4 children can't help but be talented. They're very musical, they dance, and even compose music. Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, how beautiful!
Gypsy families always meet guests by offering a feast.
Do you have like national food, something that's typically gypsy?
You know, gypsies are great connoisseurs. They choose the best dishes from every European cuisine. Undoubtedly, we have always been making wonderful borscht. That's a Ukrainian edition.
Do you follow gypsy traditions in everyday life, or is it just for special occasions?
Well, today, in our time especially, old traditions are far, far behind. And we step along together with our contemporary time. That's why we don't really have all those solid, typical gypsy customs. But we do keep the tradition of celebrating Easter and Christmas. That's why those traditions are still alive. And we also keep strong traditions like gypsy weddings.
Why is it that the gypsies in Russia don't have a nomadic lifestyle anymore?
There was an order by Khrushchev that said, "Okay, that's it, guys. Everybody go get a passport fast and go to a farm." This order did not stop the gypsies, but caused many to get their own businesses. Some became blacksmiths, some became horse breeders. They finally started living like normal people.
Do you regret that you don't live as a nomad?
Sure, that's why it attracts me so much. When we have been on location or on tour, our filming takes place outdoors. We go to a forest, and when the light of the campfire gets going, it's so beautiful. My eyes water when I imagine living permanently in nature. Without it, we became very down to earth. Like they say before, gypsies used to be birds.
Roaming was prohibited in 1975. Before that, gypsies could settle in any town. After the decree to recruit gypsies into settled jobs, their native lifestyle became illegal vagrancy. The Soviet authorities tried different ways of keeping gypsies from their wandering lifestyle, even placing them in jobs. In the Soviet newsreel, the advantages of settled life in a town are promoted through the example of gypsy Mikhail. The propaganda didn't always work, but many gypsies continued doing habitual work for living. For gypsy women, it was always fortune-telling. In Russia, gypsies had different methods. Some went around villages begging and offering to tell fortunes. Others worked on markets. Often they set themselves up in the city and had clients come to their apartments, which is still common. You can notice this in Soviet movies. Gypsies are often portrayed as positive figures, like Gypsy Yashka from the popular Soviet children's comedy Elusive Avengers. He's courageous, creative, resilient, and always ready to help out. The famous film Cruel Romance is based on the play by Alexander Ostrovsky. In it, gypsies accompany a Russian nobleman and sing to him in Gypsy and in Russian. Gypsies were loved so much for their music that sometimes social differences were of no importance. Proud gypsies always avoided politics and tried not to get involved in wars, but still assisted the Russians in difficult times. During the Second World War, they fought and perished with the Russians on the front line. They hid runaways as one of theirs and helped captives to run. In Russia, gypsies were always an organic part of society. According to different information sources, there are between 500,000 and 1.5 million gypsies in Russia today. The gypsy diaspora works hard to keep its national identity strong. There's a federal national autonomy of Russian gypsies, a magazine, gypsy language courses, and even a Russian gypsy dictionary. Days celebrating gypsy culture and festivals are often held. In addition to official institutions, there are some independent movements which demonstrate a real interest in the tradition and history of this ancient people.
We're at a special horse center right now. A very unique event takes place here each year. It's sort of an excursion slash training called the Gypsy Anabase. And what happens is that the participants of this event sort of transform themselves into the real gypsy encampment and then just go off and wander around fields around Moscow.
The image of a free, romantic gypsy lifestyle is in favor in Russia. In movies and literature, the gypsy encampment is often a symbol representing freedom. The free, nomadic life with horses, campfires, and tents attracted many great literary men.
Those willing to participate in the Anabase program have to go through a special training period. Real gypsies, dance teachers from Roman theatre, are brought here for consultations with the participants. Each participant has to pick out or make up his or her own costume, and then, if needed, even pick out a wig. Everything is very serious here. The gypsy newcomers have to learn how to sing, how to dance, how to fortune tell, how to speak gypsy, which is actually called the Romani, because once on the road, they can actually come across the real gypsies, in which case they mustn't embarrass themselves. I think it's pretty clear why this kind of an event takes place in a special horse center. A horse for a gypsy is a friend, source for a living, and the means of transportation. And it's no wonder that throughout the centuries, gypsies have been breeding and trading horses. And the love of horses is the very thing that actually brings the participants here, just like the gypsies. Unconditional public love surrounds gypsies in Russia nationwide. It's obvious that the gypsies hold a very special place in Russian hearts and culture.